girl whose murder you helped cover up texts you. So Pierre died.
I fucking fixed it.
You dare interrupt my funeral? She is married to her dead ex-husband's brother. The motherfucker got killed by a rabbit. Why the fuck did the dude drown? I didn't know whether to cry or to laugh. The amount of shooketh I was astronomical. She was about to break up a marriage herself. Like, I cannot write this shit. You know what? It doesn't matter much. She just got left at the altar. So I've played the same Sims 4 Legacy for, I think it's Generation 27 now. And today I want to tell you the very juicy story of my Generation 25 heir, Selena, who is by far the most chaotic, dramatic, juicy sim I've ever had. And that's saying a lot because Generation 2 heir Kayla started an intergalactic war. And Selena is still more interesting, way more interesting. Let me quickly show you the family tree. So here's a quick look at the family tree up until Generation 22. This is when this website, Plumtree app, went down. So this is as far as I got, but like it's just a few generations. I am both a simmer and a writer. Wait, hang on. Flex. And so my Sims gameplay definitely reflects that I love storytelling and drama. I really like drama. So let me tell you the story of my Generation 25 heir, Selena. I hope you enjoy. Okay, let's get into it. So first, before we meet Selena, we must take a look at where she came from. Selena was born to parents Carrie Bustos, I think that's how you say it, and Yusuf Ansari. Selena was an unplanned teen pregnancy and spent the first little bit of her life living with Mother Carrie until she was seen unfit to be a parent, at which point she being Selena, moved in with Father Yusuf, who had gotten another woman pregnant at the same time. And so now she, being Selena, had a little brother we shall call Bass because they later changed their name. Oh my god, deep breaths. Everyone, this is just an appetizer. Before you judge Yusuf, the father, too much, his background is basically that his father was a super mega famous football player and his mother was a substance abuser who died in a magic duel. Look. Then his father, the super mega famous football player, moved another woman into the house, after which Yusuf ran away and had this rags to riches thing going on for him. Something also to know about Yusuf is that when he was a teenager, he fell from a Ferris wheel. It might have been a woohoo related situation, and he hurt himself so bad that he had to use special equipment to move around. And this actually led to him become a millionaire later in life by designing that kind of equipment for others. We love Yusuf in this household. He was actually a very good dad and partner. Did I say was? I meant to say is. Did I? Who knows? We'll find out. So Selena's family consisted of Yusuf the father, Haven the stepmom, and Bass the brother. Did I even mention Haven? I did not. Yeah, Haven is the other girl Yusuf knocked up right after he knocked up Carrie, Selena's mother. Makes sense. To be completely honest, Selena was a very boring child. So we're gonna skip right into her teens. So the beginning of Selena's teen years was busy. She put a lot of effort into schoolwork, became a cheerleader, volunteered with the elderly, made short form content about books, and had a decent following. Now we bring in the friend group that was the beginning and the end of all my plans. Introducing Violet, the pretty skinny white blonde, but she does have a personality. Finnegan looks like he has Riz, but is socially awkward and is most likely, out of all of them, to write fanfiction about space-related action movies in his mom's basement. Nikolai, your average jock, only he's not average, but is the world's most precious ginger. Alejandra, guys, bro, girl's worst nightmare. And Kieran, your average hot guy, but in this case, he is, in fact, average. So now we can get into the tea. I really hope this is going to make some sort of sense. Bass, Selena's brother, had a crush on Violet and vice versa. Selena had a huge borderline obsessive crush on Kieran and asked him to prom. He said yes, and they went together. Plus their outfits can matched without meaning to, and I like that. Now, I've come up with a system I call chance cards that I include in my gameplay whenever I remember, and basically I've made a list for children, teens, and adults and older of possible positive and negative things that could happen to them. And every in-game Sunday, I randomize one event for each sim, and it's just a really fun addition to your gameplay. Even if you're not bored, it might really fuck up things for you, and that's fun. So this time for Bass, I rolled parents out of town, which means that for one night, your teen's parents go away, and this usually means I have my teens throw a party. This is the part where I probably should be self-conscious about the type of gameplay I do, but I feel like all simmers are a little bit crazy, and I say that with love. So Bass invited the whole gang over, meaning all the sims I introduced. We had Selena with crush, now boyfriend Kieran, Bass's crush Violet, Bass's childhood best friends Finnegan and Alejandra, as well as Kieran's best bro Nikolai. Now, two sims who have not been introduced yet are Yang, who is Yusuf's brother Khalil's child, aka Selim Bass's cousin, as well as Izzy, who Finnegan brought to the party. Also at this point, I would like to apologize for butchering every name possible. I think I should mention at this point is that Yusuf had a cow plant farm. I believe he had 5 of them in his yard at this point, and everyone in the house hated them. And Haven would continually eat the fucking cake, but Yusuf, he loved his cow plants. The party was going really well. Bass finally got up the courage to kiss Violet, and they became girlfriend-boyfriend. There was some jealousy going on because Selena saw Kieran chatting with Alejandra, who she disliked quite a bit, and she went over to hug Nikolai and see if she noticed. There's also a photo of Selena just staring at Kieran because he's on his phone and not paying attention to her, which I find represents Selena's character at this point very well. Anywho, back to the cow plants. So Izzy, you know Izzy, she got eaten by a cow plant. Was she uneducated about the plan? Was she not sober or just hungry? We'll never know. This, of course, threw everyone into panic mode, you know. Alejandra started doing the fire dance. Selena caught her foot on fire, the usual. But after Grim had done his thing, Alejandra stepped up and convinced everyone it was a bad idea to tell anyone outside the circle of what happened to Izzy. I'm afraid that I sound way too casual about this and you're just thinking I'm a psychopath, but you might think now it's a bit unrealistic that no one would spill the beans, but there are a few factors. Number one, they were all teens, almost none of them sober, in panic mode, distressed, what have you. And two, Alejandra did a very good job manipulating them. And three, on the surface of their naive, vain little mind was that no one could find out that they had a party. So, in the end, they made a collective decision to cover up Izzy's death. There was, of course, one little stray kitten they had to corner because Yang, the cousin, had left the party early while Izzy was still alive. But Yang happened to be on the naive side as well and believed the tale that Izzy also left and went missing sometime after that, although Yang would later on develop the paranoid trait because something never felt right about that story. Anyway, so the kids spent the entire night cleaning the house, bathing the dogs, covering up murder, and then went to school the next morning, and Bass literally went to the bathroom stall and cried. And then, I'm not kidding, within 24 hours of Izzy swallowing that sweet batter, Yusuf came up to Bass and talked about cow plants. Like, he had that thought bubble atop his head and it had a cow plant in it. Like, what the fuck? Some time passed after the incident, and even though the kids were still traumatized, they started moving on with their lives. Bass actually became an influencer on social media kind of overnight. They started getting brand deals which came with money, but they didn't let it get to their head. So both the kids as teenagers had quite a large following on the internet. At this point, I would like to mention the family pets, the ones that were not deadly. Talking about the cow plants. We started with Bolero, the beagle, who was named and modeled after my mother's dog. Her name is actually not Bolero, it's Tesuka, aka Tesu, but I came up with the name Bolero for her. Now, a quick story about Bolero, the pixel dog. I wanted her to give me little beagle puppies, but she didn't. She gave me cursed weirdos, who I named Adina and Pei after the book Powerless by Lauren Roberts. Although I did end up loving Adina the dog almost as much as Adina the character. But anyway, I was upset with Pullervo because she did not give me beagle puppy, so oops, she got sick and died. This was a good day or so after I had showed my mom her dog, but in pixel form, and she asked in the family group chat, how is Pullervo, the pixel dog? First of all, talking about my pixel people and the twisted webs I create with them is not something we've probably ever talked about before. So imagine me having to admit to her, my mother, that oh, Pullervo actually died like 30 minutes ago. And my mother, for a good reason, was very upset and asked me if I could resurrect her because she's so cute. To which I replied that it's The Sims, mom, only creativity is the limit. Did I resurrect the dog? No. But yeah, the kids took Pullervo's death quite hard because someone had to. And they begged for a cat until Baz got straight A's and was allowed to adopt one. Anyway, they adopted a little Persian kitten they named Pom Pom. I'm now realizing that it was Baz's cat technically, and I just had Selena take the cat when she moved out. Something to know about young teenage Selena is that she was obsessive by nature or surroundings or both. She was literally obsessed with her boyfriend Kieran, and she was quite territorial of him and easily got jealous. But being committed to Kieran did not mean that she could not look. And something she also began to realize was that she was into older guys, which is an important note for later. Now, let's set the scene for a moment. You've called in sick to school so you can spend the day at the pier with your hot boyfriend, yeah? You mess around in the cuddle carts. He goes out to pee. You get a bubble tea. It's so nice. It's cute. Then the girl whose murder you helped cover up texts you from beyond the grave and asks you if you want to go to prom together as friends, of course. You're like, the fuck? This is a prank. So you text back and say no. Oh, but that's not all. You look behind you, and there she is, her ghost, slowly creeping up on you across the pier. Here's what I wrote in my gameplay notes because I think it's funny.
Oh my god, Izzy, the dead cow prank girl, just called Selena from beyond the grave and asked her if she wants to go to prom together as friends. Oh my god, now she's behind my back. She's here. I rejected her and she came back to haunt me.
Turns out, Izzy was not in control of her ghost form, but she was trying to get justice. Selena started feeling a lot guiltier than she already felt, and so she got hold of Alejandra and they had a long argument, but in the end decided to keep both the secret of Izzy's death and the secret of her ghost as well. So they didn't tell anybody about the ghost incident on the pier because they didn't want anyone to be more scared and want to confess and get everybody into trouble. So this added a new type of tension between Alejandra and Selena, but it was fine because they didn't like each other very much anyway. Speaking of, let's talk a little bit about Alejandra. Now, I'm not shaming her or Selena, but they were both big attention seekers. Alejandra flirted with all the guys in the group, and every guy had a crush on her. With Nikolai, world's best ginger, flirting was more bro-ish, that's the thing. Finnegan was low-key in love with her, and Alejandra flirted with him just because she got high on the feeling of being wanted. But who she actually wanted was Kieran, mainly because he was with Selena. This led to some drama because at one party, Alejandra intentionally flirted with Kieran in front of Selena, who did not give a shit. Kieran turned Alejandra down to please Selena, fully knowing that later he would go to Alejandra because he wanted to juggle the two girls at the same time. As one does. It was not a good night for our jealous Alejandra. After witnessing Selena and Kieran mess around in a bush, she went to Nikolai for comfort, and the game told me that she now had a huge crush on him, which may or may not play a part later on. And it was not the best night for Selena either because she passed out in a bush. Eventually, Selena quit cheer to focus more of her time on two things. One, volunteering with the elderly, and two, her passion for singing. At this point, she had rekindled her relationship with her grandfather, Samir, the super mega famous football player, who Yusuf was also fixing his relationship with as well. When Samir learned about Selena's singing, he promised he'd pay for her to record a song in a real studio. Then we had another prom night. Selena put all this effort into her hair and bought an expensive dress to impress and please Kieran, which, like, yuck, girl, boys don't even have a taste anyway. Selena went to grab a drink, and when she turned back to the dance floor, Kieran was kissing Alejandra in front of everyone. Like I said before, he's average. Ugh. But there's an upsetty spaghetti photo of Sel and Bass, like in front of the photo booth. She won prom queen, actually, and Bass won jester. But it was a sucky night for both of them. And then another Sunday rolled around in the game, and I did my chance card. On the teenager list, number 1 is that if you get pregante, or if you can't, then your partner will. And of course, Bass rolled 1, and I refused to do it until I figured out a loophole in my own system. Sure, their partner has to get pregante, but it said nowhere that it had to be with my sim. So the story here is that Bass and Violet had dated for a long time, but Bass was never ready to mess around, and this led Violet into the arms of another sim, and boom, there you go. We'll get back to this later. Now, it was time for Selena to release the track she worked on at the studio that Samir paid for, and she called it Brat because that's an internet thing going on right now, and I didn't know what else to name it. But what was absolutely tragic is that right before the track released, Samir, who paid for it all and supported Sel 100%, dropped dead. And this happened while Selena was out shopping with Violet, because Violet confessed to Selena that she had cheated on her brother and was now pregert. Anyway, Selena threw a song release party at the studio with her friends and got it on with Finnegan, which was for sure just a rebound after Kieran. And before this, Finn had asked Selena to promise friends twice, and she rejected him both times, but now she was like, he's looking mighty fine all of a sudden. I love her. And at the song release party, Violet came clean to Bass and they dumped her. They were already upset about their grandfather passing away, and now their girlfriend was pregante with another guy's baby because they weren't ready to mess around. So what was their solution? Mess around with Alejandra in a dumpster behind the studio. In other news, the song ended up blowing up. And it became somewhat of an internet meme. Like, imagine a very popular TikTok sound. And Selena also, like Bass, got famous overnight, basically. Yay! I've written here that she let the fame get into her head only a little bit. I mean, she was living for the attention and the praise as she gained a bigger following, but at her core, she was still a down-to-earth kind of girl and continued her volunteer work, which is where she met an elderly man named Pierre Leroux. I'm not saying anything. She liked his kind nature and he liked her humor. A friendship started to blossom. Oh, how lovely. Now, Finnegan took Selena out on a proper date and they messed around in an observatory while a fan of Selena's followed them and fucking waited outside while they were getting it on. And Sel didn't know how to react since this was her first encounter with like an IRL fan, so she took a selfie with him. Oh, that's so creepy. Selena had been a picky eater her whole life, but her favorite food was mushroom soup. Her parents enjoyed cooking and did most of it alone, but now that the kids were nearing their young adulthood, Yusuf insisted that he teach Sel how to make her favorite food. And Selena actually maxed the cooking skill later in life, and that was the trigger. Like that, it was crazy how fast she maxed the cooking skill. Like, I don't know what happened there. And now we have another Sunday roll. In this one, Yusuf got a job relocation, which meant that he had to move out of the household for one in-game week, so I kicked him out. I marked him as unplayed as well just to see what happens, because, you know, this game be twisted sometimes. I don't think anybody else got any interesting roles. Now, on a sadder note, Bass had been struggling in life quite a bit at this point. They weren't doing their influencer thing, and Selena had surpassed their follower account. They just came home, cried in bed, and did their homework, and just repeated that the following day. There was the cheating, the breakup, tension with Alejandra because she was being a real bitch to them, and like for what reason. And then, you know, there was of course the whole covering up the murder of their friend thing going on in the background. And that is why Bass holed up in their room while everyone else went on a beach vacation. Now, okay, let's get into it. Listen. As an early graduation present, Nikolai was allowed to bring some friends to his family's beach resort in Solani. He chose Bass, Selena, and their cousin Yang, as well as, unfortunately, Kieran, his best mate. And Baz, of course, did not show up, so it was just the 4 of them. Now, here's the tea in bullet points. Selena downed her little coconut drinks and convinced Yang to go and try to hook up with Kieran. Yang was like, but went and got rejected. Ouch. Selena was serving CUNT. People kept disappearing and leaving Selena alone, but that didn't stop her party. She got some funky tan lines and had a hungover struggle breakfast of spoiled meat, cheese, and crackers she took home in her purse from the bar last night. Like, I love her. I love the sim. I love the sim. I love the sim. I love the sim. Fuck. On the last day of the vacation, Selena was feeling extra risky for the biscuit, so she flirted with Kieran and he welcomed it. In fact, he dragged her to the hot tub and showed her how much he welcomed it. But then right after, he fucking yelled at her and I was ready to kill him, but I didn't have to because a few moments later, Selena was painting naked on the porch, right? And my camera did that quick zoom thing to another sim when something bad is happening, and there is Kieran in the ocean being drowned by Grim Reaper, who by the way was wearing goggles. And there was Kieran's urn floating in the ocean on a lifesaver. I cannot. My actual gameplay notes were,
what the actual fuck? I cannot even begin to describe what just happened, but I have screenies, I have proof.
And then I looked it up, and that is what happens if your sim drowns in the ocean, which begs the question, why the fuck did the dude drown? I don't know, but like, imagine wanting to have fun and hook up with your ex, after which he yells at you, you go paint naked, and he drowns in the ocean. Like, at this point, I could not convince myself that Selena wasn't the best heir in this legacy. Anyway, when Selena came back from vacation, Bass was more depressed than ever. We gotta they were a people person, and since Kieran died, they had a moodlet called All Alone, and that was really sad. So what did Selena have them do? Bake cupcakes. She had learned that cooking together is an important bonding experience and wanted to cheer Bass up. Also noteworthy is that with Yusuf out of the household and Selena's 2-day vacation, all but one of Yusuf's cow plants had perished. Which was very surprising to me since most of them had been alive before the kids were even born, which is insane. But guess which cow plant was the only one alive? Street. The one that ate Izzy, the dead cowplant girl. It was the day of Bass and Selena's last high school exams ever. They just got to campus and were taking a selfie to what's ikuista hetki? Commemorate? Is that a word? Commemorate. Commemorate? Anyway, they were taking a fucking selfie. And my camera does the whiplash zoom thing again and a fucking teacher died. This was one of those moments and you take off your headphones and just walk out of the room. Imagine going to school on finals day, your finals day, and your teacher drops dead. Finnegan had already graduated because he was a little bit older and somehow got over Selena, and they decided to keep friendly, so she was Selena again. She was single again. No, in my notes, not these notes, the actual gameplay notes that I was taking while playing these 23 pages I'm looking at right here are just the version of what happened. Anyway, in my OG notes, it says Selena decided to grab the bull by the balls. I'm not sure what that's a saying. In any case, she invested more time to drop another hit, which also blew up and made her more famous. Remembrance Day rolled around, which is basically when some ghosts roam free and it's easier to gain contact with a spirit. So Izzy, the dead cowplant girl, had popped up once in a while with an ominous message to Selena, and this freaked her the fuck out. Sel and Alejandra had argued about the situation for the longest time, so Alejandra suggested that on Remembrance Day, the two of them do some sort of ritual she had found online to release Izzy's spirit so she will be gone for good. This just reminds me of one of my friends telling me when I've shared some of this drama with her. She told me that she just plays with good sims, all her sims are good. And here I am let's release this spirit for good so that no one will find out that we covered up her murder. But yeah, Selena agreed to this because she was about to become a young adult and would start this whole new chapter in her life. So she didn't want to drag this burden of her past with her. To prepare for this, the girls together cooked some chicken sliders so they wouldn't, get snacky in the middle of the voodoo doo-doo mojo doso casa house. What is this? What have I written? And it was then that they decided to bury the hatchet and not steal each other's boyfriends anymore. So when nighttime came, they dressed up very inconspicuously, which means in black. I mean, they were still serving. They were really cute. And then they did their thing, kicked Izzy's spirit into the void with their Ugg boots, and called it done and dusted. Now, this was all written in the previous document of gameplay notes, and since Selena aged up and everything, I thought it would be a good idea to start a new document. And I just looked at the page count, and it was fucking 22 pages long. I'm not even upset about it. It's really good stuff, so let's dive in. Give me a second. I'm just chasing down my anxiety meds with some Diet Coke. That was fine. Oh. Never mind. Hi, it's another day, another dollar. Speaking of dollars, I spent a few pretty pennies on this the other day. Now, if any Arams out there are watching, just know that I'm carrying an obsidian dagger with me at all times. Anyway, back to Selena. So Selena was now a young adult and moved into an apartment in San Myshuno. Bas was supposed to move in with her, but backed out at the last minute for reasons he didn't want to explain. But anyway, we start off strong because Selena and Alejandra are now besties. Alejandra was pursuing a modeling career and started an OnlySims. I'll let you figure out what that means. The two of them kind of combined forces and did a little lingerie photo shoot for charity, which stunning. However, when doing this, a lot of past tensions came up, and they ended up woohooing because girls just want to have fun, And Selena had always been a very sex positive person, and until this moment she was certain that she was, straight. But I don't know, Alejandra was hot now. She was open to exploring her sexuality a little bit. We love that. We support that. However, that would not be with Alejandra because they just wanted to be friends. This was just a one-time little fun thing. What a start to the new document, honestly. Okay, let's keep rolling. I don't think I have ever put this much effort into the side characters, the side hosts, if you will. Let me tell you, it has made my gameplay so much richer, even if it does take a little bit more time. Let's look at a few things. So Violet, Bas's ex-girlfriend, now had a song called Peyton because she cheated on them and got pregnant. And she was studying psychology in uni. Nikolai, everyone's best friend, joined the military. Okay. Now these two ended up falling in love and moving in together in the same building as Selena. And in a little while, they also got engaged behind my back. That was not my doing. But yay for them. And Yang, the cousin, became a kindergarten teacher. How fun. Selena enrolled in a vocational college to become a practical nurse, specializing in the elderly. This is actually quite a popular thing in Finland. If you don't know, basically when you're 15, 16 and you're in 9th grade, you have to decide if you want to go either high school or a vocational college. And if you do decide to go to a vocational college, you basically have to know what you want to be when you grow up when you're 15, 16, because you go there to learn a trade. My sister did actually go there to become a practical nurse, so that's probably what inspired this. I don't know. Anyway, back to Selena again. She didn't really need the extra income, and she was quite rich from her online presence and her music, but she had never been about the money, and she loved the elderly dearly. She had been volunteering with the elderly basically all her teen years. And honestly, she's so fucking cool. Could I be Selena? Could I be Selena, please, and thank you. She had the cutest outfits, she was curvy, she had a duck, a cat, a hedgehog, and freaking bees in one apartment, and I love her. And she loved her pet so much. She cuddled Pom Pom the cat on the toilet once. Now, although Selena loved her fur babies so much, she was never big on having she was never big on having kids and dreaded the day that might actually happen. But she loved it's 56. But she loved Vi's kids. Wait, hang on right now. One more time. But she loved Vi's kids. I can't do it. It's kid. It's not multiple kids. It's one kid. The fuck. But she loved Violet's kid, Peyton, so much. And that made her view on having kids kind of start to change a bit. Now the gang spent a lot of time together. Belle even threw them all a friend fest party, which was a really good time. During that party, actually, Pierre, the man she had known for like a year through her volunteer work, called and asked her out on a date. She said yes, which might come as a surprise to you, but the game actually had her have a crush on him when she was a teen. I don't know what that was. It was not my doing. Pierre said that he'd give her her dream date, and she told him her dream date was watching horror films in their pajamas and eating ice cream. Like, literally so cute. He said he could handle that. Like, I'm not gonna lie, the date was super cute. They had their first kiss and made things official. They had always had chemistry and been a positive presence in each other's lives, and this was kind of bound to happen eventually.
Give me one margarita, Emma. Give me 2 margarita, Emma.
Wait, hang on, what was I even doing? What the fuck happened in my brain right now? One night, Selena and Finn went out to a bar because Finn was tired of writing fanfiction about space-related action movies in his mother's basement and wanted to touch grass and meet a girl. You know, as one does. So Selena promised to be his wing woman and hit the jackpot. So Selena promised to be his wing woman and hit the jackpot with the first try. Her name was Saki Makasaki. Her name was Maki Sasaki. She had glasses and blue hair, and Finn fell head over heels. They don't come up much in the story from now on, so I will just say that they got together. They had kids. My children are now friends with those kids. Anyway, that same night when Selena got home, Bass was blowing up her phone, sounding distraught, but the connection was bad and the call kept dropping. And then Bass would no longer answer. I don't know, this is one of those parts again when I feel like you might think I'm a psychopath or a sociopath, either or, but like, I swear I'm not. I'm just a simmer, guys. I'm just a simmer. What ended up happening was that Bass went missing, like no clues, nothing. And Selena tried to use her platform online to widen the search, but it didn't yield any results. Oh my god. Okay, what I'm about to tell you is not canon, by the way. We will pretend it never happened, but I will mention it because it is kind of funny and shows how cruel the game is sometimes. So Pierre died. My gameplay notes say
No. Selena was asleep. Her phone rings at 3 in the morning. Pierre passed away. I'm exiting to main menu. This I won't allow. We have plans.
Followed briefly by
No. I fucking fixed it. I fucking fixed it. And then I come back to my current household and Selena was back asleep. The phone rings again. And now her other future lover, Alejandra, passed away. What the fuck do you mean?
when I say other future lover, that's all I'm gonna say. This death I decided to keep in, but I revived her with MC Command Center, and the lore is that she had a woohoo related incident, choking or suffocating, who knows.
Give me one margarita, I'm not fucking pee my pants.
As if this wasn't enough death for like a short period of time, one morning Selena woke up at Pierre's place to a phone call that her father Yusuf, right, had passed away, okay, which was very interesting because the previous night Yusuf had been at the club with Selena and he wasn't even an elder. How did he die, you might ask? The motherfucker got killed by a rabbit.
Emotional damage.
Yusuf, what the hell, mate? So basically, at this point, every night, someone Selena loved died. I never wear my hair like this. I always have, like, at least the upper layer pulled back. Like, if you're a gal with, like, straight hair and you can just, you know how you always, like, do this without, like, even meaning to? Look what happens when I try to do it. If I do, like... What if I just filmed the rest of the video like this? I'm sorry, that was so very unrelated. All right, let's get back to it. All right, this is a side note, but kind of an important one for the future. Haven, Selena's stepmom, who had just lost her dumbass husband to a freaking rabbit and had her son go missing, which is like not as funny, I'm so sorry, called Selena and asked for her blessing to go out with someone called Rodney Uchida. Uchida? Let me know. She gave her blessing because she understood that Haven needed someone in her corner too. All right, just keep that little nugget of information in your nugget, okay? Sel and Pierre went ice skating on a date, and even though he knew he'd need help getting up, he got down on one knee and proposed to Selena, who was overjoyed and said yes. He moved in with her because her apartment was more accessible, and he said he'd move anywhere because home was where she was. Oh, and Pierre was also a semi-famous artist and had a lot of cash. Forgot to mention that. Then a blizzard rolled around and the land grab company turned off our electricity. So, you know, they turned to Woohoo for warmth and free entertainment since the TV wasn't working. They also couldn't sleep one night because Vi and Nick had the same plan in their apartment next door. Speaking of Vi and Nick, they got married and had a baby together, little Tommy. Sel and Pierre had a wonderful beach wedding and then stayed in Solani for their honeymoon. And that is where Selena got pregante. The honeymoon had barely ended when Selena got the very sad news that Bass's remains had been found in a river. What happened to them is truly a mystery.
I'm working late, 'cause I'm a simmer, not a sociopath.
With all this death in her life, Selena started believing it was all karma for covering up Izzy's death, and she blamed herself for not doing the right thing back then and for not taking enough care of Bass. So then she dyed her hair black to match her soul. And honestly, it was a serve. Like, this girl could rock any color of hair and make me feel like she was born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline. Very soon after Bass's funeral, she held a charity event for mental health awareness because she is a queen. And then to make matters worse for herself, she found out that she caught a bug in Solani and she lost a lot of weight and it brought some complications to her pregnancy. This is actually one of the options in my chance cards. It's like one of the travel ones. Like if you go out on a vacation, you have to roll or some random event. And one of them is actually like catching, I think it's called getting bitten by plasma bats because that's an actual thing in the game. Anyway, and apparently Vi called Selena and said she was pregnant again. Like she's popping them out left and right. Now something very tragic happened. While at work, Haven called Selena to say that Pei, their family dog, had passed away. And so I knew it was only a matter of time until Adina, Pei's litter May or whatever the fuck they're called, I'm too lazy to look it up, was going to pass away too. However, she did not die immediately, and so I was like, phew. But then Sel got back home and I was like, oh, Adina's still alive, thank goodness. Like, she didn't die while Sel was at work. And then I pressed play and there she goes. Maybe you don't understand how much I cared for this pixel pet, but like, I hated her at first because one, she wasn't the beagle I so desperately wanted. And two, like, she looked fucking nuts, bro. I don't mean to be rude, but her eyes were haunted. Anyway, she had become as much of a companion as Pom Pom the cat. And I don't know, I was sad when she died. Like, I mean, I am the god in this game, so I could have made this dog immortal, but I have to keep up some sort of balance here because I'm killing Sims left and right. Game is killing Sims left and right. Like, I can assist an innocent teenager into eating the cake twice, but reviving a dog? Alright folks, I'm gonna need you to hold on to your boots right now because you will be shaking in them. I still cannot believe what I am about to tell you. So remember a while ago when, you know, after Yusuf got killed by a fucking rabbit, Haven asked for Selena's blessing to move on, and she had a man in mind. Sel, you know, said yes. And so now I went to check on Haven, you know, give her a new outfit and stuff, and also to move in this man that she was talking about, because I didn't think the game would do that, and I had saved his name. Mutta mitä minun karvaiset silmät näkevätkään? Haven was married, not to the dude she was talking about. Oh no. She was married to her dead ex-husband's brother. Oh, but that's not all. That's not all. Khalil, the dead ex-husband's brother, had moved in with Haven, now wife, but they weren't alone. They were not alone. Khalil apparently had twins, Phoebe and Cade, with his ex-wife Arabella, who he also had Yang with. But Yang's dead. Wait, no, not dead yet, is she? Sorry for spoilers. Anyway, so Khalil had twin infants now, and that's not all either. Haven was three trimesters pregnant, but not with Khalil, but with some fucker named Emmanuel Robles, who was also not the guy Haven talked about before all of this. Quick recap. So, Haven, asks Selena, her stepdaughter, for her blessing to move on to another man after her husband got killed by a rabbit. Stepdaughter says yes, go for it. After a while, I go check on Haven and move in the guy she wanted to move on with. I see that Haven is no longer in the household alone. She is married to her dead ex-husband's brother. They are not alone. Khalil's new husband had moved in with his 2 infants he had with his ex-wife. And then on top of that, Haven was 3 trimesters pregnant with another man's baby who was not the original guy he was talking to. And all of this because I intentionally left her household as unplayed.
Give me one margarita.
But still, my question is how? How did the game do this? I've never, ever had anything like this happen before. So, am I complaining? No, I fucking love this game. We're gonna try to continue here, but my neighbors are doing some sort of remodeling thing. So anyway, the story I'm gonna spin here is that Khalil and Haven got together behind Selena's back. Like, they didn't tell her until they were already married, and that obviously hurt her feelings a lot, but eventually, they did get over it. I've never been the type of simmer to throw a lot of like parties and events for my Sims, so here I used the baby shower event for the first time, and it was so adorable because we had Selena, we had Vi and Haven, who were all pregnant at the same time. Yang was there too, don't worry, she's not dead. And I was starting to wonder what to do with her because she was giving me lesbian vibes, okay? But literally after a few in-game hours after the baby shower ended, Yang called Sel, and I was like, your name was not Ngata before. Also, I have no idea if that's how you say it, and I'm too lazy to check. I am so sorry. And I checked her sim panel, and in those few in-game hours after the party, the chick got married. So I was like, okay, cool, less work for me. That same night also, Selena woke up because her neighbors were being too noisy, and it was Nick and Vi fighting in their apartment. Like, what's that about? Then Selena went into labor, and there were some complications due to the illness she had during her pregnancy, the plasma bat thingy. But she had a baby boy, and he was given the name Jay Reese because those were the names of Pierre's dead brothers. I will not elaborate on that one. Jay Reese was born deaf, and I still don't know how to make gameplay for deaf Sims realistic because the game has hearing aids, but that's it. How do conversations work? I don't know. So if you have any tips for me for how to make gameplay more realistic for any type of disability, then please let me know, because the game is not gaming when it comes to that. So Selena visited Vi next door, okay? Peyton, the boy she had when she cheated on Bass, was now a child. Then they had Tommy, who was ginger like his father. He was an infant, and they called their newborn Kiara. So 3 kids. Nick wasn't home when Selena visited, and she subtly brought up the fighting she'd been hearing, and it made Vi very tense, but she confessed that Nick, a soldier, had been drafted for war. To war. This already sucked, obviously, but now they had these 3 kids and Vi would be left alone with them. And Sel, of course, promised to help. But yeah, after this, Nick was sent to war, and Violet graduated uni with a degree in psychology, and she started a job as a criminal psychologist. I want cool jobs like this, cool careers like this in Sims 4. But I had to make up my own. Quick note, I looked, and Haven named her baby Alyssa. Stunning. And another quick note, kind of an important one. Yang called Sel and asked for her advice on having a baby, and then said she'd go have a baby. And I was like, cool, less work for me again. Go girl. Now, I'm not sure if I lost a section of my notes or I just didn't write it down, but Selena woohooed Pierre to death. Huh. Wait, hang on. Shit. Hang on, hang on. I'm back. Don't look at my shorts. Hey, ooh, whoa. You dare interrupt my funeral? Oh my god, they stopped. Okay, so it's later in the day. I believe Pierre just died, and I was being very respectful about it. But yeah, so Selena woohooed Pierre to death. Reminder, he was an elder, and the game killed him once already before because of his age. But damn, what a way to go. Wait,
If y'all got together, she would crush you. Maybe so, but damn, what a way to go.
Anyway, oh my god, I'm being so respectful again. So Selena then got a reputation as the woman who woohooed her husband to death, which was a less common way to go. We will also ignore the fact that I did say that Alejandra, when she died earlier, it was a woohoo related incident and she never got a reputation. Selena got a reputation. And she was obviously heartbroken because the love of her life died. She was so in love with him. I don't think it's come across here, but they were soulmates. Pierre was also the father of her firstborn child, and now she was all alone to take care of him, as well as help Vi out because she was also alone with her children. Here's another quick note of how fucked up the game is, because I went to cast to create a new love interest for Selena, and I randomized his name, and it gave me Orson, and I was like, ew, I only know Orson from Desperate Housewives. Let's randomize again. It gave me Pierre. I didn't know whether to cry or to laugh. It gave me Pierre, guys. Then I did actually cry, and I wrote 2 pages of how broken the game was and how it was unplayable. We've all been there. But then I bought 2 expansion packs for less than the price of 1, I might add, but and 2 kits. I also bought 2 kits. I don't want to talk about it. Then 2 a.m. rolled around again and Selena's phone rang. By this point, we already know it's a death call, but who is it going to be this time? It was Yang. You want to know how she died? The neighborhood stories told me that she stuck a finger in a plug and electricity came out. I'm sorry. I am sorry. Like, excuse you. Because first of all, in case you've forgotten, she was supposed to be pregnant, and I do not think that the game lets pregnant Sims randomly die even if they are unplayed. So that raises a red flag. But also story-wise, I don't think Yang just went around sticking her fingers into plugs for funsies. Like, this screams intentional unaliving to me, and I don't know what to make of this situation, but this is what the game did. I had nothing to do with this. So anyway, she died. So since Selena was like drowning in depression and not being able to function on her own, our bestie Alejandra temporarily moved in to help take care of Jay-Weez and everything. She, by the way, for a career did spicy content on the internet, and she was also a pretty well-known model. But now she had taken a step back from being in the spotlight herself and had gotten a job as a public relations coordinator. We'd love to see it. Oh, I forgot to mention one thing before the whole, finger in the socket debacle. So Selena had a one-night stand with this man I did end up naming Orson because suddenly he looked like an Orson, And then now she found out that she was pregnant with his baby. Ooh. She freaked out and first told Alejandra, who was a little sussed out but supportive. She then told Orson, who didn't give a big reaction but promised to take care of her and the baby, but he wasn't going to be around much because his life and career were in the desert and hers was in the city. But they agreed to work it out. I'm sorry, I just had broccoli. I'm sorry. Then Violet called Cell and said she had her new baby. Like, oh my god, that's her 4th, isn't it? And I obviously wanted to go and see what she called them. And I went to click on the door, and she was fucking someone in there. And her husband was at war. The amount of shooketh I was astronomical. Volume on this bus. This I did not make up either. This is what actually happened. Like, Nikolai was not in the household anymore, okay? One of the 2 expansion packs I just mentioned that I bought was for rent, and I had the ability now to go snoop around in their apartment. So I did, and you want to know what I found? Violet had a note about cow plants eating people in her dresser, and another one about how she envies the Grim Reaper. Girl was going through some shit right there. Cell confronted Vi about the woohoo situation, and she confessed that yes, she also had a one-night stand and that she felt horrible about it. And Selena promised not to tell anyone. One regret that I have is that when she was woohooing someone in that apartment, I clicked snoop around, which took me away from my household, instead of knocking on the door and seeing if somebody that was not Violet would answer the door, aka her woohoo partner. I have regrets. That could have been so much fun. Now, here's a thing about me. I am both a simmer and a writer with an obsession with names. Like, I have notebook after notebook filled with lists of pretty names dating back to my childhood. And yet, when Selena gave birth to another baby boy, I was unprepared. Also, I don't check what my Sims are, having these days because I just kind of want to go with the flow. So anyway, I named the baby Benjamin. That's a really pretty name. I really like it. That's been on one of my lists for a long time. But I was upsetty spaghetti because it was another boy, and boys are hard to dress. That's why I only have girls. I want lesbians to rule the world. And by that, I mean not having husbands, because that's more boys to dress, and I just want to dress up girls. And and because why the hell not? Bi was now pregnant from the affair, because being surprised is a part of the charm. Or the chaos, either or. But yeah, like that girl be popping them out left and right. So Alejandra lived with Selena all throughout her second pregnancy. She grew really attached to the babies and also grew a lot closer with Selena. They had a dramatic history, but were now best friends. During a deep conversation, Alejandra casually flirted with Selena, and she was receptive, but didn't think she was being serious. And then right after Sel had the wish/want to get engaged to Orson. Her mindset was that she wanted Benjamin to have biological parents that were both there in a loving relationship, because she didn't have that growing up. And now Jay Reese would never have that either. So that dream pushed Selena more in Orson's direction. At this point though, Alejandra was secretly in love with Selena. All this time living with her and low-key co-parenting with her made her realize that Selena was it for her. But Selena was going through so much, and Alejandra didn't think it was the time to come clean about her feelings, even if it meant kind of dying inside every day. And also at this point, I had fallen for Alejandra as a sim, and I wanted to take care of her. So I thought she'd want to take out her romantic frustration and have a casual relationship. And so I took her out, and while she was flirting with a cute bartender, Selena called and said that she found a ring in Orson's bag. I didn't know this call could happen if both Sims were in the same household, but one of them was just on another lot. But what a fucking ironic moment for this to happen. Like, I cannot write this shit. So Selena came to the conclusion that she was going to get married to Orson, and this drove Alejandra deeper into the trenches, and she went and fucked the cute bartender in a hot tub. I don't even remember where they found a hot tub, but But yeah, long live the lesbians, honestly. Then one day after the engagement, Selena and Orson went out on a date to talk through the details of their marriage, and the conversation was going really well until Orson, told her this little detail that he was actually married and the father of 2 kids. Bruh. Why do I act like this was a huge revelation for me? I came up with this shit. It was a surprise for Selena, though. I also forgot to mention that Orson, was like Pierre, a lot older than Selena was. This obviously led to an argument, which led to Selena running into Alejandra's arms, who tried to make her see the red flags, but she wasn't willing to, see or listen. Selena also quit her job in the medical field. She freaking loved that job, but she wanted to focus her time on her family. In other news, Nikolai got back from the war. He was not the same man, but damn, what a gorgeous man he was. I'm blushing. Like, I'm super bi, leaning more towards women, if that wasn't clear, but like, damn, pixels rarely look this good. I just look at him. Just look at the pretty pixels. Any hoozles. Nick came back from war to find out that, his wife was pregnant with another man's baby. Obviously, he was upset, but at the time, he understood Vi's side and was just so grateful and happy to be reunited with his family that he let the argument go, but he knew their marriage would never be the same. Then Selena took Benjamin and went out to meet Orson. He basically promised he would officially divorce his wife and said that Selena and him should get married as soon as possible. Right, well, that's one thing. The other is that when Sel came home, she was going to use the bathroom, but someone was woohooing in the shower. Well, it was obviously Alejandra, but who was she woohooing with? Pretty pixel boy Nikolai. Why am I so excited about this? I swear I'm good. I swear I'm good. I was just thirsty. I mean, I am thirsty. Listen, let's keep going. So yeah, Nick and Alejandra fucked in the shower. Long story short, Selena had enough mindfuckery for the day. And since she was about to break up a marriage herself, she didn't have a ground to stand on when it came to the adultery in front of her eyes. So she just shut the hell up and continued dreaming about moving to a lavender farm, where she would have bees and chickens and would finally find peace. But it turns out that this woohoo between Alejandra and Nick was not the first one. But after getting caught, Nick sat Alejandra down and told her that this was the last time. And now that he had gotten his frustration out of his system and made things even with Violet, he was going to try to fix his marriage. And even though it was just casual sex, Alejandra did catch feelings and was sad about them. Rejection. Okay, get ready for this one. What Orson failed to mention to Selena after telling her they should get married as soon as possible was that his wife Miami had followed him to the date, seen Sel with the baby, and actually dumped his ass before he had filed for divorce. But on the wedding day, Miami showed up and during the ceremony begged Orson to think about his kids and to come back home with her. And then she also threatened Selena and she was escorted out, ruining the wedding. But yeah, mitä vittua tämä on? Sorry, something popped up on my screen and I got scared. Anyway, long story short, that was the end of the ceremony because Orson chose his already existing family and left Selena at the altar. I wish I knew how to tell this more dramatically, but I just, it doesn't matter much. She just got left at the altar, which sucks. However, it did not suck for long because after getting left at the altar, Selena went to take a breather and Alejandra followed her, and then they sat in the rain in their gowns and laughed at the shit show their lives were. They were expressing their gratitude for one another, which led to a kiss and another kiss, and then basically they decided that lesbians rule the world, and then after a while of reassessing the situation, they made their romantic relationship official. And on top of it all, Selena got to follow her lifetime dream of owning a lavender farm, and that is where they moved together as a family. I told you, lesbians, they rule the world. Lesbians, are you there? Are you there? Hi. Do you want to be besties? Besties? I know I'm engaged. I'm engaged to a man. You know what's really fun about being with a straight man when you're a bisexual woman? You can just appreciate women. You can appreciate women's beauty and women in general together, which is so much fun. Anyway, my Sims are now in love. Are you still with me? I know this has been a lot, but this is a passion project and I love storytelling, so I really hope you're still enjoying the ride because we are not fucking done. We're close, but we're not done. Right, so lesbians rule the world and the lesbians are now living on a farm, but they had a science baby and this time I did cheat it to make her a girl and they named her Janessa. I had this name picked out for the longest time before Jay Reese was even born. I wanted them to have a girl named Janessa. Oh shit, fuck. Okay, so none of the kids shared both parents, and Selena had kept her last name as LaRue after Pierre, and Alejandra's last name was Wagoner. So to solidify them all forming this new family, they decided to combine their last names. By they, I mean me, obviously. And I do have to take credit for this one. So everyone except Jay Reese now shared the last name Lavage. Yes, it is pronounced Lavage. Alright, don't get it twisted. No. So to help fix their marriage, Nick and Vi wanted to try the ranch life as well and moved close by to our household. An important thing to note here is that Vi had no clue that Nick and Alejandra had hooked up. She also had her affair baby and that she named Marcella. Wanna know who else had a baby? Khalil and Haven. So now they had Kate and Phoebe from Khalil's previous marriage, Haven's rando baby, Alyssa, and now Erica, their shared baby. I like that the game randomized the names Alyssa and Erica because that's like really cute for them. Also, just another note about how I don't know how to have a deaf sim. Jay Reese, who was fully deaf since birth, his quirks were love sounds and light sleeper. So like, I don't know what to do with that. Speaking of Jay Reese, he was a fucking ass. He didn't care much about his siblings and he didn't get along with his cousins, especially Phoebe. No one likes Phoebe. He was a huge collector. He liked gaming and loved void critters. I swear I tried to play with the void critters. There's nothing to do with them. Why are they even in the game? Pretty much the only person he liked was Tommy, Nick and Vi's kid. No, but the real problem child of this family was Benjamin. Like that kid would not sleep through the night or sleep when I told him to. He was also very geeky and nerdy and fought over void critters with his brother all the time. But like Benjamin, please, I wish we could still send kids to boarding school. And oh my god, this is the best thing probably I have ever done in The Sims. We had a big old lesbian barn wedding. I could have made it look so much more beautiful, but I wanted to. But the queens wore short white dresses and cowboy boots, and they set up an arch in front of And they set up an arch in front of And they set up an arch in their And they set up an arch in their front yard in front of the barn. Oh my god. At one point, Alejandra and Nick were hugging and vibing, and then I had an idea and lost control of my wallet. Because Lovestruck, the expansion pack, had just come out, and I wasn't going to buy it, but I got it for cheap, and that's where things got really juicy. So basically, everyone got horny, right? The gals had just gotten married and were always going to be each other's number one. However, Daddy Nick was looking quite fun. And just to remind you, in their teens, Selena and Nikolai were best friends. They were each other's bros. Really close, strictly platonic. But like now he was this like war hero, all scarred and muscular and ginger and an amazing father and blah 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 blah. Turns out when the idea of a polyamorous sort of situation with the gals was thrown into the mix, Nick was very responsive. The trio got together and I was having a lot of fun until the game gave me a pop-up of Nick asking to move in with the girls, and I was like, damn, okay, he's really leaving his wife. So he moved in with us for a bit, and obviously Violet was informed of the situation and was enraged because the girls had not only broken like 1,000,000 girl codes, but stolen her husband all of a sudden. And when I went into their household to get Nick and Vi divorced, the game told me that Nick was literally unattracted to Vi, and I was fucking laughing. Like, that's so fucking funny. Oh my, wait, hang on. I haven't really played the household after finishing these notes, and I completely forgot that I had Selena and Nick have a science baby. Because I had Nick take the baby when he moved out. I'm shooketh to the core right now. I had no self-control at this point, so I'm not surprised. So this time I consulted one of my mini lists of names, and I named the baby Sierra, like Sierra from Ladies and Tangents. But then I remembered that Nick already had a kid named Kiara, but it's fine. They're like a little matching set. So Nick took his biological kids, Tommy, Kiara, and Sierra, with him and moved to his own house, leaving Violet with Peyton and Marcella. Don't get me wrong, I freaking love Violet. She was a badass, a little slutty, and a total soccer mom on the verge of murder, like they all are. She was also a paralegal at this time, actually. And my gameplay notes say that I considered installing extreme violence at this point. Anyway, I had Vi go beat up the girls. And while she was doing that, the game asked me if I wanted to change her good trait to evil. And that was so funny to me. And I said, okay, makes sense. She also tried to kidnap Jay Reese, and that was not my doing. Like when she was off the lot, Vi called Jay Reese my child and asked if he wanted to go hang out at her house. Like, okay. Then a little later, Vi showed up again, and Alejandra fought her and declared her an enemy. So then I was on my way with my girls to break into her house, as one does. When snooping around, we found out that Peyton is a pyro. That's neat. And when we didn't find anything more interesting, the gals woohooed in Vi's bed. I love them so much. They are absolute icons in my book. Am I crazy? No, I'm not crazy. Listen. I work late because I'm a simmer, not a sociopath. And lastly, as a parting gift, I have for you a screenshot of Pierre's uncomfortable ghost talking to Selena about death while she's on the toilet crying. You're welcome. Anyway, wow, I have to take a breather right now. This is where I'm cutting you off because it's already way too much. Selena is now an adult, and I'm sure this is not the end of her story, okay? She's a legend and will surely cause more chaos. But we also now have Janessa, who has already aged up into a child, and she will be the heir because, you know, boys suck. Boys don't suck, they're just really hard to dress, okay? I am convinced that she will be at least as chaotic as her mother, but I have a feeling she'll have a few less movements in the valley than Selena, but we'll see. This was so much fun, honestly. Thank you so much if you made it this far. I know this was a lot to take in, but hopefully it was entertaining for you as well. I've had a great time just like putting on makeup and doing my hair and talking about my pixel people. This was really therapeutic for me. If you are a simmer, as I assume you are, please tell me about your gameplay in the comments. I am always so curious to see how people play this game. And also do let me know if you are curious about this legacy and the previous 24 generations of it. I have tried to make videos about it before, like at least 3 times. And, you know, before that I made a 2-hour presentation for my fiance like years back, and we had this session where I talked about Sims for 2 hours and he talked about D&D for 2 hours. It was actually lovely. It's a lot of work, but I would be willing to give it another go because this was such a nice, fun experience. The very end of this 23-page document just says 8-bit sloppy seconds. I have no idea what that was in reference to, but okay.